Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is John Polansky, and I'm an assistant professor at the Kyushu Institute of Technology in Kyushu, Japan. And Kyushu is located about 1,000 kilometers west of Tokyo. So maybe most of you haven't been to Kyushu Island, but that's where I live and work. And we're a national university, founded over 100 years ago. We're relatively small. The total student population is around 6,000, and I work in the engineering department, in the engineering campus. And I'm going to talk about two of our laboratories, one related to space research and the other related to satellite testing. So to start with our research, we know that space plasma exists, and it is different in LEO, GEO, PO, and deep space. And one of the consequences is spacecraft charging. Let me give you an example of that. I have some videos here from tests in our laboratory. I'll play the one on the right. Here we see arcs occurring on a solar panel under test. And at the end of this video, we're going to see a very catastrophic arcing event. These type of arcs can completely destroy satellites. And this leads me to my first laboratory that I'd like to talk about, LISENE, the Laboratory of Spacecraft Environment Interaction Engineering. We have four big themes in this laboratory. Electrostatic discharge, which you just saw illustrated in the video. We also look at hypervelocity impacts, material degradation, and nanosatellite environment testing. And it's the environment testing that I'm going to talk most about today, but I'll mention all of the opportunities that we have to work together with partners. In terms of material degradation, we are one of 3 spacecraft material research facilities in Japan, and we look at atomic oxygen, and radiation, UV exposure. Polymers in particular are very susceptible to radiation. The bonds in the polymer chains are easily broken by the radiation in space. And it changes the material properties of spacecraft significantly. So we look at all this, and we welcome researchers and teams to come into our laboratory to work with us. We all know about this. It's maybe why we all have jobs in the small satellite community. The launch demand is increasing very rapidly. Many satellites are being launched, and this is going to continue to increase. Satellites are now affordable to small institutions and universities. It didn't used to be that way. Now, a small university or a small institution with maybe 100,000 US dollars, give or take, can put a satellite into space and perform a space mission. There are questions, however, about the reliability and about the time it takes to get that mission from conception to orbit. And we're trying to assist that process by decreasing testing time and increasing reliability. And we do so in our Center for Nanosatellite Testing. This was founded 5 years ago. It was established in 2010. And for satellites up to 50 centimeters in one dimension or 50 kilograms, we provide all of the environmental test services except for radiation, which we do with partners. And so far, we've tested approximately 2/3 of all small satellites that have been launched by Japan, and many satellites from foreign institutions as well. And here's a list with some pictures of some of the tests we have. Most of you are familiar with these: vibration, electromagnetic compatibility, antenna pattern testing, etc., etc. I want to describe the themes that we seek in partners, both from industry and government and university. So to start with, joint research. From a space environment standpoint, we're very interested in partners. It could be teams making CubeSats, it could be academics who are interested in any of our 4 main themes: charging, hypervelocity impacts, material degradation, or satellite testing. And from a research standpoint, we're trying to improve the methodology that leads to lower cost testing and higher reliability satellites from an academic standpoint. So that's number 1, joint research. Number 2, human resource development. And again, this is from a university standpoint. So we're talking about short-term exchange, students coming for internships, or staff members coming to QTech to develop their research, or long-term exchange. We host fellowships. We host fellows under the PNST fellowship, which is supported by the Japanese government and the United Nations. And we also have an educational curriculum based in English on space engineering. That's this one in red, called SEC. And that's open to any student from anywhere in the world for a master's degree or doctorate degree in space engineering. And you can get more information on these two programs at those links, or just talk to me during the weekend. Next, staff training. This can be performed on a weekly basis. It could be as long as a month. We have courses designed to train test engineers and academics, if so desired, in testing their satellites in the space environment: vibration, shock, thermal vacuum, etc., etc. Also, periodically, we hold tutorials that are open to the public with a general application that is pre-designed. So you don't have to come up with the training curriculum yourself. You don't have to ask for something specific. You could just attend one of our tutorials and get training that way. And finally, nanosatellite test services. If you have a satellite and you'd like to get it launched, you're looking for some tests, please contact me or my director. And I have a full price list, but it's very negotiable. And we also work with JAXA. We have access to some launch opportunities, as do many other institutions throughout the world, but we're very willing to consider ways for you to launch your satellite, work with us, test with us, and then launch through JAXA at a very reasonable price. So, this has been very short, but just to recap, this is what we offer: testing, training, education for students, assistance with your satellite program, and finally, in a very academic sense, joint research on electrostatic discharge, material degradation, and anything related to the space environment. So if you have questions, please find me. I'll be here throughout the weekend. Or send an email to my director, Professor Mengu Cho, and his email is